What's happening, guys? Welcome to Sleep Stream Stash, the show that covers all aspects of fantasy football. I am your host. My name is Memphis Young. You can follow me at DWZ Memphis. And with me, we got the whole crew here. And we'll start with my guy, Jonny, at Fantasy Picasso. Jonny Tuma, what's up, man?
Humbled to be in the same digital room as you guys.
Big week last week. And I'll go ahead and bring in Evan at Evan Ringler FF. Evan, what's going on, man?
What's up? I'm excited to write the script of the NFL this week.
You know, in our group chat, and by the way, that's how I know this thing in some form will be season long. We'll do some Dynasty stuff in the off season. Rookie analysis is like, all right, we're officially the three best. If you listen to the theme song on the audio version of this, we are the three best friends that anyone could have, because now we're sending each other Dynasty trades. And I said in our group chat today, as we were planning the show, it's like, going to be tough to top last week. Michael Wilson, 15 for 185. My man hangs 33 points on you, doesn't score a touchdown. If I told you any player gave you 33 points in PPR and didn't score a touchdown, you'd be like, no way. And then, how bad is Buffalo's defense? Bad enough that I called Sean Tucker. 3 touchdowns. Almost Al Bundy worthy, if you know, you know. But what a good week, man. Jonny, you think we can do it again? At least try?
Like I said to you guys in the chat, at this point, like, we just write the story and the NFL just follows along, man. We've been on a heater. This is fun because we've been more right than wrong on the calls. Obviously, we're gonna get some wrong. We're gonna have our misses, but we put in the work, and I love it. This is our time to show all the work that us three have done all week to help people win their leagues.
And I kind of look at it like professional gambling. If you know anything about sports gambling at all, a guy or lady can make a really good living getting 55% of their picks right. It used to be about 52.5, but with the way that the books have adjusted the juice, you really need to be right about 55 times out of 100. And if you do that, you can make a nice living. And I think for us in the fantasy space, I think we've been right probably closer to 75 to 80% of the time. No one's going to get them all right, but we do the work. We work super hard, and I'm fired up for week 12. Now, more buys this week, Evan. Now, no buys next week. So, any particular buy problems you have this week?
Oh my goodness, I have the worst starting lineup that I have ever put together in a league this week. My starting receivers are Van Jefferson, Isaiah Hodgins, and Tyrell Shavers. Who didn't do much for me last night. And I am flexing 3 kickers. Flexing.
I didn't even know you could do that.
Yeah, it's an MFL league.
Depends on the format, I guess.
Yeah, I play in a lot of MFL leagues. So, but yeah, really rough week for me.
I'm surprised in the number of leagues I'm playing multiple tight ends. Because I was so bullish on him as a rookie, and he, speaking of a guy that we've got right early in the season, Theo Johnson. I'm a big Theo Johnson guy. You'll be surprised how many leagues I'm flexing him this week between injuries and buys. It's brutal, but I'll go back to Jonny. Of your dynasty leagues and even seasonal leagues, how many of those leagues have trade deadlines? Like, the trade deadline's probably either this week or next week. Is that a thing for you? Is that something you're battling right now?
Yeah, 100%. In all of my leagues where I'm contending, this is the trade deadline week. There's other leagues where I'll be in the playoffs, but like the leagues where I'm in a position to win is trade deadline week. And I'll just circle back to the trade I made last week. I traded Oronde Gadsden to get Drake London. Drake London tweaks his knee. Michael Penix goes on season-ending IR. I'm like, it's all good. I don't need Gadsden. I've got Laporta. Laporta goes on, gets season-ending back surgery. So I'm scrambling a little bit because I have the best team in the league, but I've got Cade Otton as my tight end. So trying to get kind of creative, see if I can get Travis Kelce from the guy who's got him, who's not going to, this Travis Kelce is going to retire at the end of this season. And to me, it's kind of a fool's game for the guy who has him. And this is the trade deadline to not move him before the end of this week. Get something for the guy who's going to be a total zero at the end of this year. So trying to get a few guys like that, make a few moves with those competing teams to kind of make sure that I'm ready to go. Cause yeah, it's kind of scary, right? Like I love doing trades. And then you realize after this week, you're completely dependent on waivers and your roster to go make that run for the championship.
Yeah, and I see the chat. We're starting to get people in the chat. Jamie here, as always. If you have a dynasty or a seasonal league trade that you want us to ask, obviously we're going to help you with roster, start, sit decisions, and all of the things that we normally do. But go ahead and fire those in the chat. Go to YouTube, Player Profiler, and we'll get to as many of them as we can. Let's go ahead and get our one commercial break out of the way, and we'll be right back.
Pour one out for an incredible best ball season. It was a breakout 2025 for Fast Draft, but now the NFL action has started. That means it's DFS season. That's right. You might think, oh, wow, DFS, I can't win DFS. Oh, but you can on Fast Draft. You just pick any 6 guys and you put them in a handful of booster spots. There's no salary rubric you have to follow. You're not going up against thousands of killer bots in these tournaments. Oh, no. These are regular people grabbing their 6 favorite plays of the week, and that's all you have to do. And we post the ownership so that you can choose how much chalk you want. There is no drafting. It's called the Quick 6 Super Slam. The Quick 6 Super Slam is the signature DFS contest at Fast Draft. It is changing DFS. We are making DFS great again. So go to fastdraft.app and use your host promo code for a $50 deposit match, and let's go start drafting faster.
Absolutely love Fast Draft. I will not be playing this week because I am not leaving the state of Indiana. But next week on Wednesday, I've got to go pick my son up at the University of Cincinnati, Ohio. Much better state from a legality standpoint. I will be plugging in 10, 12 rosters when I go visit my son. If you want to use a promo code, you want that deposit match, use the code WARZONE. All caps, all one word, and that'll get you that dollar for dollar match up to $50. You deposit 50, you get an additional 50. You shoot 100 at this thing, and no better way to play if you're seasonal or dynasty leagues in a crapper currently. So there you go. That is Fast Draft. But let's get into some sleepers. And I got to pull up the show doc here. Who had the first sleeper? I believe that was Jonny.
Yep. So kind of dovetailing off of all that Falcons pain that I'm going through, right? I've got Darnell Mooney, and yeah, he's rostered in over 50% of leagues, but he totally fits the bill as a sleeper, right? This guy yet to score a touchdown all season, yet to go over 70 yards receiving in a game, yet to score more than 10 fantasy points in a game all season. So this is a guy who I felt like, he's Darnell Mooney. We know what he can do, but people are scared shitless, right? But I think he's in a good position to start this week. It's been a disappointing season, but last year he had a really strong season with Kirk Cousins as his quarterback. Now, just for people who aren't fully aware, he was recovering from a broken collarbone earlier in the year, and I think that had something to do with the lack of production, and so did Drake London. He clearly took a seat to Drake London, who was the first read for Michael Penix and was just being absolutely funneled targets. But now we've got no Drake London this weekend, which means Mooney becomes that clear 1A guy for Kirk Cousins, who he was productive with last year. Mooney in 14 games with Cousins got at least 6 targets in 10 of those games last season. They're playing New Orleans this weekend, who's a middle of the road against wide receivers, but these division games always get a little funky in that NFC South, and it's a game where I want a piece of someone. I also like Kyle Pitts as a streaming tight end in this, but I think Darnell Mooney could have that first 20-point game of the season for him and kind of show us what we thought we were getting when we drafted him in the middle rounds this year.
This is a good call, and I'm going to go to this game as well. Evan, what are your thoughts on Mooney?
I like the call. It's just a matter of if he can catch the football. It's been a rough year for Mooney. He's played through a broken collarbone basically the whole year, which seems like something the public should have known. But overall, still a good call. He's certainly going to get the targets. It's just about if he can convert on them and if Kirk Cousins can still throw the football.
Yeah, the NFL, I don't want to say they've gotten a little loose with the injury report. Think back to when Lamar Jackson was playing, not playing. And I think that's what's always given the NFL the advantage is they've taken care of the gamer, right? The fantasy gamer, the gambler. That's what the injury report's for, which the injury report in the NFL has been around long before the advent of legal gaming in the United States. So you do the math. So I like the Mooney call. Mooney was a guy that I was interested in coming into the season. I always thought he would have a chance to be more of the number 2 option in this offense, well ahead of, I know people like Kyle Pitts, and I just did the Dynasty Warzone, and believe it or not, because I had to do the show by myself, I gave 12 guys that you in some form or fashion could go after in Dynasty. Whether you're rebuilding, you're a year out, you're 2 years out, you're contending. I just had 27 names, and Kyle Pitts is one of those names in the offseason. He's free agent, arguably the best name in the free agent tight end class, and the dude's only 25. I think Kyle Pitts has a chance if he lands in the right situation. He could do for the tight end position what Baker and Darnold and Dimes have done for the quarterback positions. If you have someone who's down on him in your seasonal league, go get him. But back to Mooney, I co-sign completely, and it's not like we're always trying to agree with each other. But, Johnny, you weren't included on this. I have the other sleeper. I'm going to give you guys the sleeper that I have on the show sheet, and that's Devin Neal, running back for the New Orleans Saints. And this is a little bit tied toward the matchup. The matchup against the Falcons is really good. I saw it firsthand when they played the Colts, and Jonathan Taylor ran wild. But why is New Orleans playing Tyler Shuck? This is evaluation season. They're not going to win the division. They're not going to win a playoff spot. They are just trying to see what they have and what they do not have for the future. I love Alvin Kamara, and this will sound like blasphemy, but I think he's been the best and most consistent fantasy running back over the last 10 years. Now, I know Christian McCaffrey has had more peak and spike seasons than Alvin Kamara, but if you look consistently across his career, Alvin Kamara has just always been that dude. But he's been that dude who's been in the league now for his 9th season. Let's see what Devin Neal can do. Do we need another running back last year? I think Kendre Miller is largely buns, and a couple of coaching staffs have agreed with me. So if Devin Neal is going to be the guy, we're going to get the opportunity to see it, and I like the matchup. And it's getting tough, but you know what, Johnny? My boy Evan knows. We're going for it. It's Shedeur. We're going with Shedeur Sanders. He is the sleeper number 2 this week, and it's all comes down to the matchup. I know he looked bad last week. I know he looked like absolute crap. I think he was 2 for his first 9. But guys, it's sitting there. It's 4:00. You're cold as balls. You're wearing like one of those. It looks like a swimmer's jacket. If you ever watch high school or college or Olympic swimming, they have like this full-length gown-looking jacket on. You're warm. You're just trying for this game to end so you can go home, and all of a sudden it's like, hey, go play. It's the same reason why I like Darnell Mooney. Kirk Cousins was in the exact same boat last week. He ain't trying to play. He got no first-team reps. But now we're going to see it. And you know what? We did some quick research before we hit the go live button. The Raiders defense has given up an average of 18.4 points per game to the quarterback position. And he's going to have all of the first team reps. He's going to be ready to go. The game's indoors against the Raiders in Las Vegas. Now, hopefully he doesn't go full CeeDee Lamb. CeeDee Lamb allegedly throwing up at 7:30 a.m. outside the Red Rock. Look, we've all been there. I'm not holding anything against CeeDee Lamb.
That's a win for me. That's a dub.
30 in the morning in Las Vegas. If you have it, you should try it. But no, Evan, I know you're on board. Anything on Devin Neal, but let's kind of focus on Shedeur.
So for the Devin Neal call, we need to shout out. I don't know how to say this guy's name in the chat. Mr. Akis 83 potentially. Like literally 60 seconds before you revealed your Devin Neal pick, he was like, anyone else high on Devin Neal? So that's some crazy timing right there. I'm hoping the Devin Neal pick does not come true, as I've traded for Kamara in 2 leagues over the last 2 weeks, dynasty contenders. But I love the Shedeur pick. Do I know if he's actually good in NFL standards? I don't know, but I really like the guy. So I'm rooting for him. That's for sure.
So
go ahead, Johnny.
I'll just say I am going to start the Raiders defense with confidence against Shedeur. That's my stance. I'm a CU fan. I like Shedeur, but until I see it, like that Browns
That's fair.
offense, I'm making money betting against him, right? That's just my perspective. I love the Devin Neal call. Alvin Kamara, we don't know if he's going to play. Just to be very clear, he is listed as questionable still. A lot of times these Friday injury reports are when we get the clarity of like, okay, they were limited all week, but he's going to be good to go. And usually that's the story with Kamara. He's a guy who can get like 1 or 2 limited practices in throughout the week, and you know he's going to be good to play. This is a guy, Devin Neal, we need to be rostering in redraft leagues right now in the case that Kamara is inactive. If he is inactive, Devin Neal becomes must start for me. Like top 10, I'll probably just say right around top 10 running backs in terms of, again, it's the Kyle Monangai, all the guys we've called out all season. When they step into, when that starting running back is down, the workload just gets even more consolidated on that backup. You want guys with large workloads. I think Devin Neal could see 50% of the snaps, even if Kamara is active, and be a good sleeper, even if Kamara is active. But if Kamara is inactive, this guy becomes must start. So really good call out, Memphis. Love that you put him on the show sheet. He was actually someone I was noodling over. Then I'm like, you know what? Kamara's probably going to play. But then the injury report came out, and I was like, oh, good that Memphis got him in there. Because if Kamara doesn't play, this has smash written all over it potentially.
Yeah, and I love the stashing him in redraft. If you look at, especially if you're contending, weeks 15, 16, 17, the fantasy playoffs, he plays the Panthers at home against the 21st. They're the 21st against the run. Then he's at home against the Jets. They're 19th against the run. And then they're at the Titans, 26th against the run. You know, we're always looking for that quote-unquote league winner. I think the quote-unquote league winner isn't hardly ever the guy that you find in September. It always seems to be the guy you find around Thanksgiving. So I like that. And anything on Shedeur, like I said, you're not big on Shedeur. I'm banking against the Raiders. I know they got Max Crosby. They have nothing else. I mean, if you can make the likes of Trevor Lawrence get me 21 points, you know, why can't I mean, can he get half a Dak? I'm sorry. If you're in a super flex league and you've got a Jaden Daniels injury, or you're not sure of what you're wanting to do with Aaron Rodgers this week, man, put on your best knockoff AP, throw it up to the sky, and we're going Shedeur. All right, we're going to move on to.
I'll tell you what, Memphis. I am starting Shedeur Sanders over Geno Smith and Cam Ward. Every other quarterback, I am not.
I'll start him over Rodgers too with the broken wrist. And if it was Mason Rudolph, I'd probably still go with Shedeur.
I mean, there. Believe it or not, there are worse options out there. But it looks like, Jonny, you're going back to the well again in Arizona. Give us the first streamer, and I like how you created an impromptu stack for the DFS gamer.
Yeah, stack them up, dude. Like that game last week with the Cardinals with Michael Wilson and Jacoby Brissett. First off, like, Evan, you should have put it all on black, brother. Michael Wilson was Evan's sleeper of the week last week. Dude got 18 targets, 15 catches. Jacoby Brissett, ho-hum, sets the record for NFL completions in a game. The dude is slinging it. And we were just talking about, like, he's going to turn to dust again, right? Jacoby Brissett is going to turn to dust again. That will happen. But it's kind of being priced like it's going to happen this week. So, like, let's bet against it. Let's see if they can keep it going for one more week, ride that wave against the Jags D that's 27th against quarterbacks, 21st against wide receivers. The Jags can move the ball, and the Cardinals, like, the penchant, the write-up for the Cardinals is that they make so many self-inflicted mistakes on both sides of the ball, and that's why they're so pass heavy. They just are constantly digging themselves into holes and having to get out of it. And if you've watched them week over week, like, it's getting worse. The mistakes, like, they're getting more penalties every game and putting themselves in deeper holes where Brissett's just having to try and throw his way out of it. So I think you're going to see a ton of continued, like, pass rate over expectation for the Cardinals. They don't seem to be convinced in their running attack. I don't think anybody should be convinced in their rushing attack. So I really like both of these guys because I was like, you know what? Let's go see what Michael Wilson, the wide receiver 1, is from week 11 is priced at. Okay, 4,800, not bad. Why not stack them up with Brissett while we're at it at 5,300? Brissett's one of the cheaper quarterbacks on the slate. Wilson's one of the more inexpensive wide receivers. And again, we still have no Marvin Harrison Jr. I think this is going to look a lot like it did last week, and I want both of those guys at that price.
And I'm going to tack on to that in redraft. If anyone's dropped him because he's been out the last 2 weeks with his appendix removal, go see if Marvin Harrison Jr., because these 15 targets, let's be candid, 11 or 12 of those probably go to Marvin Harrison Jr. had he been healthy last week. And again, another guy, if you play in those formats, and I play in a bunch of these where you start 3+ wide receivers, Marvin Harrison could be a difference maker. And it's only going to be for the rest of this season. I'm bullish long-term on Marvin Harrison. I'm just bullish on this offense because, to Johnny's point, they make tons of mistakes. They're always having to throw the ball. And if Jacoby Brissett breaks the record, was it completions or attempts? I think it was completions, 47. I mean, he's not going to do that every week. But, I mean, would you be shocked, as bad as this team's played, if they complete 35 to 40 passes every game the rest of the way? And I just looked at their schedule. They're indoors. They're in a dome in every game between now and week 16, except for a game at the Buccaneers. They're at the Buccaneers, by the way. That's in sunny Florida. It rains sometimes in Florida, I understand, but it's, home to the Jags, at the Buccaneers, home to the Rams, at the Texans. Texans is a dome, and then home to the Falcons. This is a great spot for all these guys because you want to have pass catchers on bad teams, Evan. Anything else to add? And then you have the other streamer, and I like this one. I've always kind of hoped for more of this guy.
Yeah, on the Cardinals, I totally agree that we should be buying their passing game rest of season. They are top 3 in plays per game, dropback rate, and dropback over expected rate. So there's just going to be a lot of usage for their pass catchers. I think that Jacoby Brissett can kind of be like the Jameis of this year. I know Jameis is actually starting this week, but he doesn't have any weapons. So I think Jacoby Brissett is the real Jameis for this season. He's just going to give us fantasy points for the receivers and the tight ends. And then, my streamer for this week is Andrei Iosivas. He's $4,100 on DraftKings this week. He's already been a significant part of the Bengals passing game, like throughout the season. Over the last 6 weeks, he's running a route on 86% of Cincinnati's dropbacks. And he's also had a 12% target share, which is pretty solid over that time. And now Jamar Chase is out of the lineup for an incident we won't talk about. He gets to face the Patriots, the second best matchup for fantasy wide receivers. I'm expecting yet another Bengals shootout, and Yoshi should see at least 6 or 7 targets with the potential for more. I mean, this could go Michael Wilson mode, honestly. Besides Higgins, Brown, and Iosivas, it's really tough to figure out who's behind them. Fant has been good, but Gesicki's going to be back this week, so I'm not comfortable starting any of the tight ends. But I trust Iosivas to get a 20% target share in a great game environment.
Yeah, old Jamar Chase went full hot Tua and spit on Jalen Ramsey. Johnny, anything on Andrei here? It looks like Joe Burr could be back.
Yeah, I think that's the big question I'd have for you guys is like, I would think that gives Iosivas a bump, right? Because Burrow has frequently targeted Iosivas in the red zone. To your point, like he's been a guy who's on the field a lot, running a lot of routes for his first couple of years in the league, but it always seems like his stat line is like 1 catch for 8 yards and a touchdown. Like when he does, but I say that because it could be a good thing, right? No Jamar Chase, you get Burrow back and he's looking for him in the red zone as Gonzalez is probably shadowing Higgins. But that being said, who was it? Someone had a catch over Gonzalez, like completely mossed him a few weeks ago. It was
Drake London mossed him twice, and then he mossed Marcus Jones twice as well.
So
that
like
was just an insane game.
That to be said, like fire up your T Higgins too, right? Like don't get too scared about Gonzalez shadowing or whatever. So yeah, I like the call. I like this. I like picking on the Bengals defense, and I like investing in the Bengals offense.
Yeah. I have Higgins up to wide receiver 4 this week. Iosivas, wide receiver
Wow, wide
25.
receiver 4.
Yeah. I mean,
Wow.
Jamar Chase is out, and he's got an incredible matchup. I'm 50-50 on if Flacco or Burrow plays this week. I still have no idea. The full practice versus limited practice thing, it doesn't mean anything. I don't want to keep going on injury reports. Don't get me started. But I think either way, it doesn't really matter because Flacco's been playing incredible, and we should expect Joe Burrow's first game in the lineup to probably be below his usual standard anyways. So doesn't really matter for me.
And you like it even more if it's Joe Burrow. He'll be rusty. Like I could see Iosivas. Is that how you pronounce it? Because I always get names wrong.
Iosivas.
Yoshi, like Yoshi.
Like Mario's friend.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yoshi
Okay.
Voss.
Yoshi Voss. Okay. I could see him being like a Wes Welker kind of fella. Like, that
Super
shifty
athletic.
Wes Welker, for those that have been around a while. I mean, I would love to see him play that role, but of course they force feed Watkins. All right, Devin, we're going to speed this along because we want to answer some trade questions. We don't have a lot of questions so far, so if you want to get yours answered, jump in there. And Evan, give us your first stash. The stashes are getting hard.
Yeah, the stashes are getting hard this time of year. I'm focusing more on dynasty leagues at this point, and specifically tight end premium leagues. I'm going with Greg Dulcich. He signed with Miami a month ago, and he's already taken over as their tight end 1. Like, it only took him 2 weeks to take that tight end 1 role over for Miami. He's running way more routes than the other tight ends, and he has 4+ targets in 3 straight games. He's currently building a case to potentially be a starting tight end next year, and Miami desperately needs one of those. So if he could re-sign there, that would be big for his tight end premium value specifically. This is a guy who was on waivers even in very deep dynasty tight end premium leagues. While he may have already been added, he probably has in those kind of formats. You can get him for basically for free as a throw-in. Very league dependent, but a lot of my leagues are like full point tight end premium, sometimes even start 2 tight ends. In those kind of formats, a guy like Greg Dulcich is something you really want to stash.
Yeah, and of course, there's like certain landing spots you want every free agent to land in. Like if it's a wide receiver, you want it to be New England. You want it to be with Drake May. But I'll be honest, on a little side note, the free agent wide receiver class is largely terrible. It's George Pickens, Alec Pierce, and I guess the bronze medal there is Jacoby Myers. I was looking at this yesterday.
Yikes.
And I just mentioned that the tight end's not much better. There's a couple. Kate Otton's going to be a free agent. I'll tell you who else is a free agent and 36 years old and marrying Taylor Swift is Travis Kelce. And if that isn't the tight end position that we want every free agent tight end to land in the world, and I still think regardless of who lands there, Noah Gray will have at least a little bit of relevance next year. But I love this. There's as the NFL is a copycat league, and you see it with the Rams, you see it with the Steelers. So many teams are using more 12. Your Seattle Seahawks, Evan. So many more teams are using 12 and 13 personnel. And while it dilutes down for the most part the tight end targets, it just gets more tight ends on the field. So this was a guy that we were all super bullish on probably a year and a half ago, Johnny?
Dude, if I told you some of the trades I made to get Greg Dulcich, oh my God, we'd just be laughing at me for the rest of the show. But yeah, this is a guy who he's like a receiver in a tight end body, right? Which is what we like for fantasy tight ends. So he has receiving chops, has downfield prowess. A lot of these tight ends who can catch the ball, like they're 3 or 4 yards down the field is where they live. Like he can work down the middle of the field. The big thing for Dulcich has been his hamstrings. Like he's had chronic issues with those things. And it was to the point where the Broncos gave up on him. I believe he was with the Giants. They gave up on him. I don't ever think it's really been a question of talent. It's just been him being able to stay on the field and stay healthy. And so, yeah, I like the guy. I love this call. Super under the radar, to your point. Like, right. I was just doing a quick look while you were talking, and I could get him in any league that I wanted him right now. And if the usage continues for the end of the year, I think the big question is, like, can he stay healthy? Does
right.
Waller come back? how does that all shake out? But if it plays out favorably for him and he stays healthy and has decent production, I think this is a great call.
I think in terms of play style, he reminds me of David Njoku or Jonnu Smith, both guys who took a long time to break out. So I wouldn't be surprised at all.
Yeah, that's why you can never get too down on tight ends. It's great to see guys like Sam Laporta, Brock Bowers, even Trey McBride broke out in his second year. He had Zach Ertz in his way for his rookie year. So I never thought I'd go full circle on Kyle Pitts, but here we are going full circle on Kyle Pitts. I've got a really deep grab for you because I don't remember a lot about this guy from rookie season, but it's Jordan Watkins, wide receiver from the San Francisco 49ers. Hasn't really seen the field much this year. He has played a total of 2.3% of the snaps this year, but those snaps have come in the last 3 weeks. He didn't see the field weeks 1 through 7, but he's been on the field the last 3 weeks. And I can't figure out why. Like I know, and I do know why.
It was injury.
It was injury, and part of it is also, too, he's a rookie, and Kyle Shanahan does not love to give a lot of rookies love. He's kind of, for a younger head coach in the league, he's one of those stodgy guys, maybe the way he was raised with his dad. But this guy's starting to see some run. He's got 3 whole catches, but dude's a burner. 4.37 40 at the combine. Not a physical specimen by any means, 5'11", 200 pounds, but played at a big school, played at Ole Miss, got the physical characteristics. Maybe he'd be better off with Jackson Dart, but again, kind of guy you can throw on a taxi squad and see what happens in the offseason, because the 49ers, the reason why he was a stash for me is, A, he could be playing at any time, and his role could continue to grow with Brock Purdy now that Brock Purdy's back, and that does matter. But you're seeing how old the 49ers are, and they have holes everywhere, holes on the offensive line. The defense is decimated by injury. How many of your resources can they invest in the wide receiver position? This is a guy who has a potential to do something really more next year than this year, but he's free. In all my dynasty leagues, I found him on 4 rosters on waivers. Went ahead and added him. Throw him on the taxi squad. Cost me nothing. If he does anything the rest of the season or he breaks out next year in camp, it's fine by me. And Evan, you seem to know a lot about Jordan. Johnny's our other co-host. Jordan Watkins. And give us your thoughts.
Well, he's a guy that never really caught my eye during the prospect season, honestly. I know he definitely had some supporters out there, and the 49ers landing spot is obviously great. I'm just familiar with him because I check every single injury report that we see throughout the season, and it was always just Watkins was questionable up until Friday, and then he was ruled out, and that was 7 straight weeks of that. So I think it's just been injuries is why he wasn't on the field. Obviously, the 49ers receiver room, if he could have just been healthy for the first 2 months, he would have gotten a real shot. So that's unfortunate. But yeah, it's a 49ers rookie receiver, 4th rounder, worth a shot. I don't really have a whole lot more to add than that.
He could be the next Dante Pettis. It's a joke. You'd have to remember who Dante Pettis was. Johnny, anything on Jordan Watkins? That or he could be working at Budget Rent-A-Car next year. You don't really know with a guy with this profile to date.
I don't know, man. 4.3 speed, like worst case, he gets a Sky Moore reincarnation with the Chiefs, right? Like that kind of speed hangs around usually. He was productive at Ole Miss. He was battling with Trey Harris, right? But he was able to carve out a solid role with Jackson Dart in that offense at Ole Miss. To that point, we just have so little data points for me to tell you he's going to make it in the NFL. But I think the part that you brought up that is interesting is like you've got Nick Bosa under contract. They paid Brock Purdy. McCaffrey's getting money. They've invested a 1st-round pick in Ricky Pearsall. They've shelled out draft capital on guys like Jacob Cowling over the past few years, right? So at a certain point, the DeMarcus Robinson's a rental.
Big money to Brandon Ayuk.
Like I agree with you that it's probably unlikely that there is a big investment in that wide receiver group over the offseason. And that's what you want to start to look at. Who's a good offense with a good play caller and, a guy who's nobody's really looking at right now that could be battling for a real role in a good offense next year. So it's a good call. I think it's for the degenerates. It's for the deep leagues.
No,
right?
that's what the stash segment's for, right? It
Yeah,
is for
yeah,
the
I love
degens.
Yeah.
It's a total degenerate stash, which like people should be thanking you on their hands and knees for going that deep.
Well, I don't know how much thanking I deserve for a Jordan Watkins call, but I don't want to pretend to be like an X's and O's guy. But like, how can you? I mean, find a big arm quarterback and a guy who runs a 4.3, and like 8 times a game, just run a go route, run as fast as you can down the sideline, and pull some safeties out of the box, and like get the safeties back on their heels. I mean, again. It seems simple to me, but Evan, you seem to have a word here.
I think that John Lynch has been pretty bad over the past few years in terms of drafting. That just you rattling off some of those draft picks had me thinking about that. He just hasn't been doing a very good job. Like, that defense has no talent. Obviously, they lost 2 incredible players, but both of them are like over 27 years old. They just haven't been able to replenish any young talent on that roster, except for obviously the one incredible pick with Brock Purdy.
That's what I was going to say. It's the opposite of the Jets. The Jets, I forget the guy's name who was the GM. He was
Joe,
I don't know, Joe Douglas, maybe.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah,
Maybe.
He nailed all of them. He nailed the defensive end. Is it Jeremiah Johnson? He nailed Breece Hall. He nailed Sauce Gardner. He nailed Garrett Wilson. He crushed everything but the quarterback. Crushed it. And what's that guy doing? I think he's working for like a college team right now. And John Lynch, to Evan's point, has blown pick after pick after pick.
Jake Moody in the 3rd round.
Traded up to get Trey Lance. But you know what? He got Brock Purdy. He was Mr. Irrelevant, but that's how it works in the NFL. If you nail the quarterback, you're going to keep your job. And I'll just speak to that from Indianapolis. I'm a Colts fan. It was like Chris Ballard was coming into the season largely on the hot seat. They got Daniel Jones, bada bing, bada boom. You're 8-2. Now we're talking extension for Ballard. It's you get the quarterback position right, you can keep your job as a general manager. But if you get your lineup right, you can make money playing flex 6.
I know your sad draft season is over, but just because the NFL season starts doesn't mean the drafting stops. Because Fast Draft has the Flex 6 frenzy. You're drafting 6 guys for the Sunday slate. It's fast, it's furious, it's fun. And as with everything on Fast Draft, there are no salaries. Woo! So go to draftfaster.com, get the app, use your host promo code for a $50 deposit match. Now let's go start drafting faster.
Best in the business. Podfather, best in the business.
You're the best in the business. That transition was incredible.
I'm a transition guy for sure. But no, the Podfather, there are no salaries. I'll be honest, I've probably heard that commercial 50 times this year between this show and the Dynasty Warzone, and it never gets old. It literally never gets old for me. And he does all those on one take. People may not believe us when we say that. He does every single one of those ads. And as someone who's like done live reads and ads before, you have no idea how hard that is. But we could put the boss over all day long. But we have questions. You have questions. We're going to give you some answers. We're going to start with Jamie. Just traded Kirk Cousins for a mid-dynasty 3rd. What are you guys valuing him at? Evan, what do you think?
You're never going to get more than that.
Yeah.
Great trade.
I mean,
I feel like Parag just gets on here to victory lap sometimes. You know what I mean?
And on the other side, like, if you have to do it, you have to do it. It's just a 3rd round pick. But yeah, definitely a good trade for Jamie.
And we know Michael Penix isn't coming back. And he's coming. This is his 3rd ACL. Him being Michael Penix. This is his 3rd ACL. There's a real world where Kirk Cousins is the starter on this team next fall. So maybe, and then I'm looking at their lineup for the fantasy playoffs. At the Buccaneers, 22nd against the pass. At the Cardinals, 16th against the pass. And then home to the Rams, 18th against the pass. So you have at least a middle of the pack or better, defenses against in the fantasy playoffs. I think for a 3rd, especially if you're a contender and a contender's 3rd, I think that's robbery. So
Yeah, it's a
I think you'd
win-win,
agree.
right? Like if you have two
Yeah.
solid other quarterbacks, you don't need Cousins, cash out. There's just so much uncertainty there. But if you're contending, to your point, like giving up a third for a guy who you can hopefully put in your super flex is fine. But he's also been really ass for a long time. So there's no
Yes, he has
guarantee that
been.
giving up that third gets you someone that you might not be better off like playing K. Dotton in your fucking super flex position. So just
I'll push back on that a little bit because he if I remember correctly, he tore the dry foot Achilles, which is different than the plant foot, which Aaron Rodgers, and it says it takes longer. He's going to get 2 or 3 games to knock the rust off, and then in the fantasy playoffs, he's at the Buccaneers, home to the Cardinals, home to the Rams. So it's going to be. I'm a weather whore in the fantasy playoffs because inevitably, if you play this game long enough, you're going to have a quarterback who either plays in a torrential downpour monsoon, happened several years ago with the 49ers, or they play in a snowstorm where they get 97 inches of snow. It's good to have a guy like this tucked away as your QB3, QB4, to where you may not love playing him, but I'd rather play Kirk Cousins against the Cardinals in what might be one of the ugliest football games of the eyes, knowing that he's going to get me fantasy points. I'm totally good with this one. We want to get, how'd you pronounce this?
I said
no.
83. It's just a guess. I don't know.
We're going to go with Maracas, like B.A. Maracas. Maracas 83. He's in on Devin, Neal, like me, and Jonny. PPR, start 1. Watson, Iosivas, Trey Tucker.
What do you think? What do you think I'm going to say?
Well, I mean, it's fair to go that you're going to go Yoshi.
Hell yeah.
Now, when you play Mario Kart, do you use Yoshi?
Sometimes. I've actually been playing a lot of Mario Kart recently on the Wii. The best character is Funky Kong, but Yoshi is a fun option too.
All right, Jonny, give us your take on this trade, and then your favorite Mario Kart. See, you guys didn't know that you were tuning in for the fantasy football takes, and we're throwing in the Mario Kart takes for free.
I was about to say, I have none of that. I'm way too busy watching ball to play Mario Kart. Sorry for you. But no, I got to go Christian Watson here, man. Like 2 touchdowns last week. That's one of the things that it's like, yeah, touchdowns are luck in fantasy, but not when guys score them all the fucking time. And Christian Watson is a red zone threat, like guaranteed. And I think, he battled back. He came back from that ACL sooner than I expected. Thought he was going to be out all this year. I think a lot of people did. He was on a lot of people's like, don't touch him with a 10-foot pole list. Not only has he kind of put that to rest, he made some spectacular catches down the field, contested catches in the end zone. I think he's going to be Jordan Love's number 1 target. It's a brutal matchup against Minnesota. They're number 1 against wide receivers, but give me the guy who we were all so excited about pre-ACL tear. The guy who we thought was worth a first-round pick in Dynasty. That's Christian Watson. That's not.
I have him at wide receiver 30, Yoshi at wide receiver 25. So pretty.
Yeah, close. It's close, right? I don't expect you and I to get in like a grudge match. But we could maybe have this for our bet of the week, right?
Let's do it. Yep.
Iosivas versus Christian Watson. You beat me last week. It was K. Dotton was my guy, and yours was Theo Johnson. Both kind of dropped duds, but Theo had a less of a dud. So, all right, that's the bet for this week. Put it in stone.
Let's do it.
I'm gonna go Yoshi. I was trying to check. Jaden Reed was at practice on a limited basis, and when healthy, and again with all of these Green Bay receivers, that's the key, word with every member of those pass catchers. When healthy, I think Jaden Reed is the best wide receiver on this team, and if he plays, it's going to funnel away. I mean, we're excited about Christian Watson, but he had 5 targets. Now, kudos to him for turning 2 of those into touchdowns. But I can't get excited about a guy who's got 12 catches on the season and the best wide receiver on the team could be coming back. I'm going to lean Yoshi for the week, just for the week, because of the Hot Tua incident with my boy, Jamar Chase. Under the radar, deep sleeper, wide receiver, rest of the season, Pat Bryant, Denver Broncos.
Absolutely. No notes.
I don't hate it. I will tell you this from a dynasty standpoint. I did this on the Dynasty Warzone yesterday. I am 100% buying where I can Troy Franklin.
Yeah.
They just locked up Cortland Sutton to a big money extension. His role is his role. They've invested second round picks in Bryant and in Marvin Mims. And this is the guy. Troy Franklin is the guy. He was Bo Nix's guy. He's Sean Payton's guy. Don't underestimate Sean Payton's ego. He doesn't think that he needs a Jamar Chase or a Justin Jefferson because he believes his offense makes the star. And Troy Franklin, it's that gradual but linear progression. It's just a little bit better each and every week. The bond with him and at the pro level with him and Bo Nix continues to go. I'm fine with Pat Bryant rest of the season, but if easy money sniper, if you're a dynasty gamer, I'm looking to acquire Troy Franklin before the price goes up. Do either one of you have any pushback on that?
No, Franklin has a 28% target share over the last month. Although I will say that I generally just want to stay away from Sean Payton at all costs.
No, I'm you guys are considerably. I'm the old man. I'm gonna start calling you guys nephew, like Snoop. I'm gonna start calling both you guys nephew. You guys could call me Unc.
I love
I'm totally fine with that. But I was here when he made a guy with no speed who probably should have been a tight end named Marquise Colston, a wide receiver, like just juggernaut, crushing people. I'm still a little shocked and a little taken back that he has not turned another wide receiver into the Jimmy Graham. As much as we all love, McBride and Bowers, back in the day, it was Gronk and Jimmy Graham and Jeremy Shockey. And these guys were just, that was the original golden age. So I'm buying in on Sean Payton's ego. Let's see here. This is Alex Flores, not to be confused with Alex, the director of content at Player Profiler. Shout out to Alex. He was in the chat, helped us with a little thumbnail bugaboo on my end. ETN or Emmanuel Wilson? I'm going right to Jonny because you've had Emmanuel Wilson on this show sheet twice this year. Is the time now for Emmanuel?
Dude, someone was saying like it's kind of a trap game, right, with Wilson because like it's everything we want. You're like, oh man, you got the backup guy going down, or you've got Josh Jacobs going down. This is a smash spot for him, right? But then when it's time to actually, produce, he could lay an egg for you and put up like 5 or 6 points. That's my fear with Emmanuel Wilson. I think the thing that is exciting is that with ETN's full participant. There was a little uncertainty. He was wearing a non-contact jersey yesterday. I haven't seen the update on Tootin, but if
both are playing this week,
okay,
confirmed.
So that answers your question. If Josh Jacobs isn't playing, we're starting Emmanuel Wilson simply, and if he is playing, then we're starting Travis Etienne.
100%.
If Tootin was somehow a surprise inactive, I would lean Etienne over Wilson. If Jacobs was inactive and Tootin was inactive.
Yep, Jonny covered it.
Oh wow, this is a quite the question.
So silly. I saw
Jared Jacoby Biscuits Brissett or Patrick Mahomes rest of the season.
Look, Jacoby Brissett has the better schedule. Patrick Mahomes has the worst schedule, but I'm not going to make that argument.
Yeah, don't. This is so silly. One guy has 3 Super Bowls. The other is like legitimately going to turn into a pumpkin whenever midnight starts.
I think it's a great time to sell Mahomes in seasonal leagues. I'll say it because he's got a horrible schedule coming up, and he has underperformed the last 2 weeks. He's not running anymore at all. He has 8 rushing yards over the last 2 games.
It's crazy because at one time he was looked at as like unsolvable, like he was the riddle. And I'll be honest, I'm Unc on the show. I go back to watching Andy Reid with guys like Deuce Staley and Brian Westbrook, and I remember how much better his offense was when he has a running game. In my opinion, think about when Patrick Mahomes was at the peak of his powers. Remember how good Kareem Hunt was? As much as we talk about the running back class of 2017, and we love Alvin Kamara and Christian McCaffrey, as a rookie, I don't think any of them played as well as Kareem Hunt. He was smashing in 2017.
Crazy stat this week. Kareem Hunt is first in the NFL in EPA per rush.
Gross.
He just
Like,
needs more rushes.
He is very consistent, but the Chiefs have no ability to create explosives whatsoever because Patrick Mahomes can't throw deep and their running backs are just not explosive.
Yeah, his metrics, when you look at his deep ball right now, some of the worst in the league. And he had a game, I think it was 2 weeks ago, where he threw for sub 50% completion. It's like, come on, dude, never go full JJ McCarthy.
It's been
I don't
two
know.
in a row,
I don't
too.
know why JJ McCarthy's got to be out here catching strays, but that's the
was
cost.
awesome.
That's the cost of doing business. Otto struggling at tight end. Best start / stashes. Kate Otten, Britton Strange, AJ Barner, Darren Waller. Look, dude, Darren Waller. He fumbled Kelsey Plum. He's got a horrible rap career. He's
I don't know
off
if that's a fumble, but
early in the career, Kelsey Plum was not a fumble. Good sir.
that's fine. That's fine.
She's
Pre popcorn video.
the one where she's throwing the shirt in the crowd at the basketball game.
Was that her?
That was
Yeah.
her. Yeah, for sure.
She's got a cannon.
The Vikings could use her right now.
They're probably in her DMs. Hey, Kelsey, what are you doing on Sunday around 1 p.m. Central? Anyway, for me, this is if you're going rest of the season, it's Kate Otten. Mike Evans isn't coming back. Kate Otten, if you're looking rest of this season, Otto, it's easily Kate Otten. But if you're looking dynasty, it's Brenton Strange. I like the relationship. I like the way that Liam Cohen, and by the way, big shout out to Ben Johnson in Chicago. He's done wonders with Caleb in that offense. You know who's not getting his due, in my opinion, is Liam Cohen. I mean, yeah, the Jags are the Jags, but what are they like? They're like 7-4.
Yeah.
If I'd have told you
playoffs.
that, hey, they're 2 games ahead of the Chiefs and a tiebreaker ahead of the Chiefs for the playoffs. That's crazy. So kudos. I like this offense long term, and eventually there'll be some continuity. I'd like to see Trevor Lawrence take a step, but long term for me, it's Strange, and short term, it's Otten. I do like Barner, but I'm worried. I'm worried about Elijah Arroyo starting to emerge a little bit in this offense. I think I'll throw this one back to Evan because Barner's one of our guys, not just your guy. He's one of our guys.
Yeah, this is the Barner hive. Like this group, that was one of the DMs or the texts I sent you guys. I'm like out here trying to get some AJ Barner shares off of an 11 target game last week and 87% snap share. Like,
yeah,
I'm all in.
I tweeted about that game. He was getting like Travis Kelce type usage where he was just running like these little 5-yard hitch routes. So that was encouraging because I thought he was just going to be a red zone threat. I think I would prefer Barner over Strange in Dynasty. It's very, very close for me between those two, but it's clearly Otten rest of season.
All right, we are in agreement. Let's see here. Eric Castellanos. Ooh, who's the Castellanos that plays for the Phillies? Evan? Nick. He was a Red at one time. Big dude. He needs 1 wide receiver and 2 flex. Pittman, Pearsall, Alvin Kamara, Sean Tucker, and Bashil Tootin. I'll go to Johnny. Johnny, who you got? Give him a wide receiver and a flex or 2 flexes.
Pittman, Pearsall, and Tucker. I think with Kamara, I'm just a little worried about the injury designation and the workload split that could potentially be there. I think Tucker has kind of earned that 1A over Rashad White. I mean, if he didn't last week, then the coaches, I don't know what the hell they're watching. He was a better runner. He was a better in the receiving game. He is just the superior running back at this point in his career than Rashad White. And I think you'll see a little bit of like what the Panthers did. Like, hey, Chuba's a good guy. We really like him, but almost speaking about him in the past tense. Like that's where I want to get with Rashad White, is where we talked about how good of a person he is and how good he used to be and stuff. Because Tucker, when he gets the workload, is just fantasy gold. So let's hope, kind of riding on that coattails, that he can give you half of what he gave you last week. He deserves to be in your lineup. And then I think Pearsall and Pittman are pretty straightforward for me as well.
Yeah. Pittman and Pearsall are easy, but I think if Kamara plays, I would go with him over Tucker. I just don't like the matchup for Tucker against the Rams. That's a really tough run defense, and I'm expecting the Buccaneers to trail. Even last week when Tucker went absolutely crazy, Rashad White dominated the snaps and dominated all the pass catching work. So I have some concerns about Tucker this week. Give me Kamara if he plays against the Falcons run defense that isn't very good.
Yeah, I'm avoiding. Sean Tucker was a fun story, and we had him as a sleeper last week, but it was the matchup. It wasn't the dude.
Right.
It was. I would say
He is really fun. And
I would
He's
say
a dude.
he's
got juice.
Here's a fun stat. If I told you through 11 games of the season that Michael Pittman would be averaging more PPR points a game than Justin Jefferson, you'd have probably called me a liar, but that's where we're at. That's where we're at. And a lot of those PPR points came with Carson Wentz, JJ McCarthy, catching more strays. But it's easily Michael Pittman, Pearsall, and then again, if ETN is limited, I would lean Tootin. I think Tootin's like that home run hitter. That Cardinals defense is just, and it's weird. They should be better. They have a defensive minded head coach, but that defense is ass. It's just ass across the board. And so I'm definitely in on Pearsall and Pittman, but I'm leaning Tootin of the 3 running backs. So
Pick your flavor. We gave you 3 different, like we all had a different answer. So I think that's cool because it's like, go you decide from there. You know.
we'll get a couple more. Easy money sniper back got offered Ricky Pearsall for BTJ. I mean,
give me Pearsall. I think Pearsall is a great buy right now. They have a great schedule. Their defense is horrible. They're gonna have to throw the ball a lot. I'm in on the 49ers offense down the stretch, especially, and I just don't know what the hell to do with Brian Thomas. It looks like he'll probably be back within the next couple of weeks, but I just don't know if that matters at all.
Yeah. God.
At least we've seen like Pearsall early in the year was getting genuinely great usage. Brian Thomas hasn't. Like we just haven't seen it at all this year. It's been really bad.
The thing that I mean, now if you got Brian Thomas Jr. as a rookie, I'm probably much more in on this trade than I am if you got him in a startup last fall. You probably got him as like a top 8-ish wide receiver.
Redraft.
Oh, it's redraft. Then yeah. My bad. My as a dynasty guy, my brain always defaults to dynasty. Hell yeah. You know, I've yet to see Brian Thomas Jr. have a monster game with Trevor Lawrence.
Right.
Maybe Mac Jones gets traded somewhere next year as a starter and he can take Brian Thomas Jr. with him and we'll all be better off for it in all fantasy aspects. Daniel Moreno needs a flex. Got Jamison Williams, Christian Watson, or Butte back from injury. For me, this is J-Mo. J-Mo has been the dude since Dan Campbell has taken over the play calling duties in Detroit. This is a great running matchup. One of my favorite sports betting touts has a same game parlay out there where he's going over on both Gibbs and Montgomery's rushing props this week. That's how good. But, you know, wouldn't be surprised if all 3 of these guys had a rushing touchdown. Give me J-Mo just because of the way he's been used the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, I'm super high on all the Lions this week. I have Montgomery up to running back 13. I have J-Mo up to wide receiver 13. I just think they're going to put up 40 this week.
Yeah, and I think J-Mo has outscored Amon-Ra since week 6. So just and in standard where you're banking on those big plays and touchdowns, yeah, it's J-Mo for me pretty easy.
We'll get a couple more, but let me ask you a question about something I mentioned on the Dynasty Warzone last night. If you're not competing right now, right? So you got bit by the injury bug, you're just in year 1 of a rebuild, whatever in Dynasty. What do you guys think about trading Amon-Ra St. Brown for like a Emeka Egbuka and a future first, or like Tet McMillan and a future first? Is that something you'd be down for as a non-contender?
Yeah, I like that,
for
especially if
either
the
of
first
those
has some
guys.
upside.
And a first, like if you can catch, like, because not everybody's a degen like us, right? If you can catch someone slipping and say, hey, look, I won't even ask for your 26 first. I'll ask for your 27 first. A lot of people aren't going to be thinking about, you know, what a class 27 could be.
Yeah, that's something that I've noticed in all my dynasty leagues this last couple of weeks is that it seems like even the casuals seem to know that 26 sucks and 27 is where you want to be. So if you can still get people over on that, definitely try it for sure.
I'll be honest, way early in like the summer, Rich Dotson from the Dynasty Nerds got me for my 27. I didn't. It was like, well, I was like, I could be dead by 2027. Of course, I'll take that future. I don't even remember the trade, but that was like, oh shit, that's Ryan Williams and the guy from Ohio State. I always blank on his name. And then you got the quarterbacks, and we always play super flex. So I was like, God damn it, Rich. All right, real quick, we're gonna go two more. We got Zahan J. I don't know
if this is a question.
Well, he traded Drake London and Penix for a late 26 and 27 first. I don't think I love it because I love Drake London that much, but
yeah,
I mean getting rid of Penix is like, so essentially like Penix is, I mean, I don't want to say done, but
like I think getting too late first for London alone, I don't know if I would do that if we know they're late.
Yeah, well, I always treat, like, if you can kind of know what the 26th first is going to be, you can look at the record, you can do a little conversion. Hey, that's the 106 or the 110 or whatever it is. But I don't care about the 2027. Injuries every year could take what should be the 110 and turn it into the 104. So I treat every, future first as if it's the 106. I just say that's the 106. It could be a little bit better than that. It could be a little bit worse than that. I've always looked at it that way, and it has served me well. All right. Last question.
I got to jump in here. Wait. All
right, go ahead. You're driving.
Someone said something, and I want to throw it up because this is what came up to me.
And
Not a believer in Lemon. He's too slow. False. Mekhi Lemon is single-handedly giving me hope for the 2026 draft class. The dude will be a dog in the NFL.
And Jamie, for the 2027 draft class, he bailed me out. I don't know why I can remember such a boring name as Ryan Williams from Alabama, but I can't remember Jeremiah Smith. I should just remember that both of the future studs at positions are named Jeremiah. Jeremiah Love. And so I do want to get one more question in, but real quick while I'm finding it, is Jeremiah Love the easy 101 regardless of format?
Don't ask me.
In rookie drafts?
Probably.
I think so.
Dude,
I think so.
Just wait till you see this Mekhi Lemons team that's coming, guys. Like I'm telling you now, it's coming. Like he's gonna run 4.3, 4.4. He's gonna show out at the combine. You're gonna look at the tape. You're gonna love him. And him and Jordan Tyson are gonna start making it more of a discussion, in my opinion. I think Jeremiah Love is still the guy, but I just say that because when you can get 2 or 3 guys you really like in a class, it starts to become a little less ugly.
Is it Jordan Tyson at Arizona State?
Yeah, he's a dog too.
I like. So there's going to be push for different flavors of wide receiver. I looked up Jeremiah Love's height, weight. He's 6'1", 220 pounds. He was timed at a 4.48 in the 40 in high school. We're going to look at him, and we're going to get Saquon Barkley. We're going to get Bijan Robinson. And even though he didn't get drafted that high in the NFL, we're going to get Jonathan Taylor vibes from this guy. And when there's not another guy at that level of athlete at the running back position, the guy's played at Notre Dame, so he's played Power 4 ball. He's made the college football championship 2 years in a row. I mean, for me, he's the clear 101, even in Superflex, because I don't love the class, no pun intended. I don't love the class, but you guys probably didn't know you were going to get a little Devy talk here at the end. But
and on the 26 class, for the people out there that are getting really excited about it, about rookie season getting here soon, Origins for Fast Draft tournament is going to be coming within the calendar year. We're not waiting, so look out for that. It's coming soon.
And our boy, it's Jeremiah, and I'm gonna, speaking of Jeremiah, there's a lot of Jeremiahs, very biblical. Jeremiah's in the Bible, but Jeremiah Retzlaff, is that how I pronounce that?
Yep.
Yeah,
okay.
the dog. That's my boy.
Dude, Jeremiah's good people. He got a bunch of us together to do some super early Dynasty rankings, and it's a little early for me. I usually start that in about January for my personal process. But I got looking at some of these guys. Yeah, Lemon, Tyson. There's a third wide receiver that I like. I do not like this running back class.
Dog.
Yeah, thank you, Carnell Tate. Yeah, it's like wide receiver university. Yeah, that's why I love Dynasty. That's why we love fantasy football. But We're going to figure something out for next week. In some form or fashion, we will have a show. I don't know when, I don't know where. I know Jonny more than likely will not be here because Johnny's going to be a good family man and go hang out with his family. But while I got everybody here, Jonny, turkey or ham?
Turkey.
All right.
Dark meat.
Okay. Evan.
Depends heavily on who's cooking the turkey. Ham it's much easier to get ham right than it is to get turkey right, but a good turkey, you can't miss that.
Yeah, it's like Thanksgiving. I mean, and I'm a ham guy. Like, if you can't tell, I'm a little Southern, so I was kind of raised on ham. Love ham, but yeah, if the turkey's done right, turkey on Thanksgiving, it's just it's the thing. I will say this: avoid the people who make the dry turkey.
Yeah,
Like I will not name the family members, but I've had turkey so dry you got to eat it in the rain, and that's not good. That's not a good time. Deep fried turkey, yeah, don't burn your house down. If you're going to deep fry a turkey, get many feet away from your property, anything of value, cars, children, like way out in the middle of like an empty space, and make sure that damn thing's dry. It's not frozen, not partially frozen, not a little bit wet. You will have headaches, hassles, and horseshit if you do not properly thaw and dry off a turkey if you're going to fry it. But anyway, we'll figure out next week. We appreciate you guys tuning in. Yeah,
we got one super chat. We got
all right.
Well,
then let's super chat. What you got, man?
Start to ETN, Swift, and Judkins. Tootin and ETN are playing. I got Judkins and ETN on this. Judkins is easy for me. I think they're going to lean on him a lot with Shedeur. That Raiders defense is terrible. Like Judkins is one of my favorite plays this week, actually. And then I'm going to go with ETN just because Swift is playing Pittsburgh, I believe, and it's a tough run defense. And we've kind of seen that Monangai split. I think that the Bears running offense has gotten better over the past few weeks, but the Jags running offense has been good all year. So I'm going with ETN and Judkins. And again, Tootin got banged up with an ankle injury. Evan said he's going to play, but I kind of like leaning into that too, when there could be a little bit of a question of like a reduced workload for Tootin, who I think got the worst of the injury between him and ETN.
Yeah, for me, it's Judkins, and I'm actually Judkins is a slam dunk across the board.
Yeah.
That's all three of us. I mean,
not for me. I'm going to zag here. I'm on the anti-Judkins train this week.
Really? Okay.
I honestly don't want to play any Browns this week with Shedeur playing. I want to see it first. And I just don't really see the ceiling for Judkins. Like I guess if you're the favorite and you just want 12 to 15 fantasy points, then go ahead and play Judkins. But I don't really see the path to upside unless Shedeur is way better than we think. So I'm actually sitting Judkins here.
Oh, and firing up Swift and ETN.
Yes, I am.
I love it.
They
I
have
love
ceiling.
boldness.
Judkins doesn't have ceiling because he's
because Judkins has never put up 26.5 points in a week or scored 3 rushing touchdowns in a week. Yeah, he just doesn't. No upside.
Not with Shedeur. I don't trust it.
Yeah,
but you were super confident with Dylan Gabriel.
Yeah, Dylan Gabriel's a clear upgrade.
I'm rooting for Shedeur, but I just can't trust it yet. Also, that was against Miami. Like,
I will say, in Evan's defense, the Raiders are looks like top 12, 13 against the running back position. Have given up just 896 rush yards in 10 games. So they're giving up 90 rush yards a game. And they've given up 0 receiving touchdowns to the running back position. So I get it. But I'm going Judkins, and then
also, how has Judkins performed since that 26-point game?
Calm down, bro. Calm down.
4, 10, 5. The fantasy points.
I mean, that was always my fear with Judkins, is that he's just not. And in that time, he's had a 2 reception game and a 0 reception game.
But look, opportunities, 25 opportunities in week 10, 19 in week 11. We
Yeah.
chase volume. Like we can't predict touchdowns. We can't predict shit. What we can predict.
I mean,
is
it's not like
usage,
Geno can't turn it over multiple times and put them
short
inside the
field.
10. Yeah.
Yeah, I will
gotta
say
go
if you're in a
with
points per
Shedeur.
opportunity league, fire up Judkins for sure.
Yeah. If you get like a quarter or a half
Dude, there
point,
are leagues like that.
there
so,
are
like,
point
know.
per carry leagues out
I'm
there.
in,
So
I'm in point per carry leagues. Yeah.
I'm going Judkins. I think he's clearly the best player of the group, and I'm never going to bench the best player, especially in it's a matchup when it's at least neutral.
All
And
right,
who's
we'll
the other
revisit
guy?
this next
Well,
week. Let's see how
this
it
will
goes.
be so. Wandier 2634. Come back next week. We will see who's back and who's got the show. But thank you guys for tuning in. We love the support on the show. It's like I do multiple shows. I've done shows with the Podfather. I've done a ton of shows, and the amount of engagement we get from you guys on a Friday afternoon is just really outstanding. So thank you for everybody in the chat who supports the show, because the chat engagement is what drives the YouTube algorithm, which helps the show, helps more people find us, and that's what we're trying to do at Player Profiler. So on behalf of Jonny and Evan, I'm going to steal my closing line from the end of the Dynasty Warzone. So on behalf of Jonny, Evan, and myself, we're just trying to make the world a better place for fantasy football. We'll see you next week, guys.
Hey, I want to thank you for being part of this broadcast. If you have any thoughts on it, leave a comment. If you enjoyed it, make sure you leave a like. And if you want to see more shows on the Player Profiler channel, subscribe to it. That's how we know you want more.